welcome to Extreme One to Watch. We are here again with Tegan Peck, Destiny Crane, and Dana Burns Shaw, 5th and 6th generation Burns family members. We are here with inspirational barrel racers. Today we have with us Ashley Beverages. We look forward to learning more about her and her journey with barrel racing.
Yes, welcome.
Great, thanks for having me.
Yeah. Ashley, how long have you been barrel racing? Tell us a little bit, walk us through how you got into this sport.
Yeah, so I've been barrel racing basically my whole life, off and on. Came from a cattle ranching background, my grandparents, and so I rode and like any girl was horse crazy from day one, wanted my own. Mom didn't necessarily ride a lot at the time when I was a kid and stuff, so eventually got to get my own horse and went with my aunt and uncle a lot and did some junior rodeos and then high school rodeoed and then took a break after because I didn't have a horse anymore and then got going again about 11 years ago and haven't stopped since.
Wonderful.
Yeah, so good to be back.
Yes. So tell us a little bit now about your traveling partner that comes with you as well.
Yeah, so the tables have kind of turned. Back when my mom was growing up and stuff, she was more the hippie cowgirl, and my aunt was more of the rodeo, and they roped a lot and stuff. And then now that aunt doesn't ride a horse, and now my mom actually rodeos and comes with me, and so we pretty much travel to all the big barrel races together and hit a lot of the jackpots. So it's been a lot of fun. Couldn't ask for a better partner.
We agree. It's fun when you can do and have fun with your mom in a different setting and support each other. And it's really been great to watch the two of you and how you help and support each other. And so tell us a little, you have a funny story about any of your travels together?
Oh, there's always funny stories with Mom and I. We laugh. In fact, when we had done one of the interviews, when you guys had the interviews a year or so ago, we were laughing because it's like the tables had turned where I became the parent when it comes to this, as far as I'm always helping. Okay, Mom, you got to do this entry and do that and everything. So we kind of have that running joke. And yeah, there's laughter every time. I'm so blessed to make these memories with my mom. They're definitely something I'm going to cherish forever.
You had some great success with the Xtreme Million. Why and when did you decide to get in to the Xtreme Million?
Well, I decided from day one when I started hearing about it, because why not? I mean, we only live once, and yeah, it was definitely an investment, but the way that you guys have done it, it's, in my opinion, a no-brainer because you have ways to win money. I've been very blessed that both years have paid off for me, and obviously not everybody gets that opportunity, but I'm very thankful that I have because it's opened some cool doors and done some really neat things. And so I appreciate the fact that you guys had a vision because it's not every day you can win that kind of money. And so, I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love my, $100 jackpot wins or any of those checks too, but when you start adding that many zeros behind it, it's kind of intimidating and fun all at the same time.
Do you know what your 2-year total? We've only had the Xtreme Million for 2 years, and you were in the top 25 both years. Mm-hmm. So do you know what your 2-year total is?
Embarrassingly, I haven't done the math, but roughly it's probably over 42,000, which I still, like saying the number out loud, I still can't believe it, but that's what it is roughly around. So.
And what did you do with the winnings?
So it's been kind of fun. I have wanted to continue to invest it back in my program because I figure there's probably not going to be a day where I could, put $42,000 into barrel racing. And so it's been fun. I bought like a roping sled and stuff because I do rope as well. I did an embryo transfer, which I probably wouldn't have justified doing, out of my main mare, Mia. And I bred her to Aint Seen Nothing Yet. And so we've got that baby coming this year. And then I actually bought another horse. Mia's getting old, so I kind of needed something in between. I actually have a colt out of her that is, well, I say colt, but he's 6, that needs to get going, but I needed something in between. I didn't want to be forced to get him going too fast. And so I bought Savannah, who I've been running, and she actually helped contribute to that large win this last year. They both won good checks. And then with this year's money, I actually just bought my mom a Burns saddle today. She's been wanting one for a while, so closed the deal on that. And then I'm still on the works, but I got my contract for Savannah to do an embryo transfer out of her to Aint Seen Nothing Yet, and I'm still trying to figure out who I'm going to bring Mia back to. So it's been fun. So lots of stuff coming in the future. I don't know for sure what all I'm doing with the rest of the money, but so far that's kind of what we've been doing.
Well, great.
And what made you choose Ain't Seen Nothing Yet for all of your prospects?
Yeah, so I've seen a lot of good horses come out of him, and he's obviously kind of the new one to watch. And so I was lucky to be able to get the contract last year before he blew up even more. And then this year we got the approval and got the contract. And so that was pretty exciting because she really limited the books. And I do feel like Savannah is a pretty exceptional mare, and I'm excited to see what they can come up with.
Oh, that'll be a great
Yeah,
little...
I'm excited. So it'll be fun.
Yes, yes. So the first year, the top money earner was an Aint Seen Nothing Yet in the Xtreme Million too. So
Yeah, it
yes,
was.
just
A
keep those
million.
winning ways with.
That's the plan. It's been fun. I followed him for a while and, talked to some people, of course, that have babies and stuff because, it is part of your family. And so got to do the research that side. And it's been really fun, especially after I bred to him, because I feel like his offspring have really taken off in the last year, especially. Yeah. So it's been really cool.
Yeah.
And you mentioned Mia. She's now 20 years old this year. So let's talk about running an older horse, the challenges, how you're overcoming it, and how you're keeping her running great and making big bucks.
Yes. So she's slowed down a little bit over the years, but she has the biggest heart. So I think heart plays a huge role in it. And then Mia's a funny story. She's been passed around a lot. She was in the broodmare pen, so she didn't even get started until she was like 8, I think. And Tegan, you actually got a chance to ride Mia before Mia came in my life too.
Yes.
And so I think a lot of things have contributed to that. One, she was started later, so she wasn't, ran into the ground super young and early. And then I'm really good about preventative maintenance. So, the second I started running her and stuff, she's been on joint supplements. We do regular chiropractic work, body work, of course, good performance vet, specializing in anything that you need and knowing that you've got, a good team that way. And then we try to do a lot of back on track and PMF therapy when they need it and stuff like that. So I would say preventative maintenance and a good team, whether that's a performance vet or chiropractic, body work, any of that, you just have to have the right people on your team. So I keep telling her, her knees look horrible. She's got arthritis in them and stuff, but she's still got good flex and she still wants to go. And so it's like I always say, when she tells me she's done, she'll be done, but she's not done. So,
No, she didn't look like
she
she was
keeps
done.
going. Yeah, she's
But
fun.
She keeps letting you hold up those great big checks.
Yeah, she does. Yeah, so the first year, all the winnings was her, and then this year, it was fun to be able to win money on both of them. I think she was a little over 6,000, and then Savannah was the rest of it. So it was fun that she still gets a piece of the pie. And too, she's competitive. She gets mad. She doesn't like that I'm riding another horse. And so my husband, in fact, I sent him the videos last night, and he's like, "Oh yeah, Mimi's about 6/10 off of Savannah. She still wants to go." I'm like, "Yep, she does." So it's fun.
How did you meet your husband?
Funny story. Randomly got introduced through a group text message, or not a group text message, but through a text message. So back when MySpace was a thing, this guy was talking to me on there, and I had no interest, but I was nice, and we chatted or whatever, and he realized that there was no interest there, and so he's like, "Well, actually, I have this friend." I was like, "Okay." And that's kind of his thing, is he specializes in matching people up, and so yeah, we got introduced through a text message, and then we actually talked for a month before we went on our first date, and then the rest was history. So kind of a different story, but it was fun and worked. So
That's cool. What's your occupation outside of barrel racing?
So I wear a lot of hats. I am a full-time banker, so I have my, if you want to call it a 9-to-5 job, with Zions Bank, and so I'm in the treasury management department there. And then obviously the horses and stuff keep me busy, and then we bought my dad's business this last year, so I'm working usually 7 days a week. We've got RPM's powder coating now, and so I'm doing some powder coating in the evenings and weekends, and so you probably will see some comical pictures of us filthy dirty in our shop adventures, but it's fun and I love it.
Wow, that's busy. I thought we were busy.
It's been fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get settled in a little bit more soon, but it's definitely time consuming between everything, and we're blessed to walk into, as you guys know, have an established business. It's nice when you can keep it in the family and know that you're walking in not having to start from scratch, and you've got clientele built up and stuff to keep you busy all the time.
So what kind of challenges with juggling your schedule, what does your morning routine look like?
Well, it depends on the day, because some days I have a vision for what it's going to look like, but then I stayed up too late the night before and it makes it a little bit more challenging. So summertime, I really like to get up early and ride before work. I get up and feed usually when it's dark and then start jumping on horses. Still been working a little bit remote, and so I try to actually force myself to take a lunch break and ride another horse during my lunch break and stuff too. So my mornings are usually jam-packed with fitting as much in as I can before I start my official work day. So usually my hair's on fire running around.
Wow, that's impressive. What time do you get up in the summer?
It depends. I like to try to be up around 5:30 at the latest. So.
Yeah. Such a dedicated, it takes a lot of dedication to keep a horse sound and fit. And as we've talked about it, it isn't just luck. There's definitely good management that goes with that. What's one of the biggest things you've had to overcome, Ashley?
When it comes to horses, I would say any horse owner can appreciate the fact that horses are a lot of obstacles all in one. Unfortunately, growing up, I had a lot of decent horses, good horses, that just continued to run into lameness issues or they'd die. We went through a lot of spells where it was just like every time you'd get something running good, they'd colic, or there was always something. And so it was like I was always starting over from scratch. And I was very fortunate. My mom handed over the reins to a little horse named Poncho, and he was so cool. And so I got to high school rodeo on him and stuff the remainder of my years after I lost my horse that took me to state. And he was so much fun. And then after that, just, didn't have a horse again. And then I got Mia, and she was going pretty solid. She just really needed to be seasoned and stuff more, and got going good and was all excited. Well, she has massive hormone issues. And so then it became, I can't haul my horse, because she was running great, but she was tearing everything up. She was destroying my trailer. I thought she was going to break her leg. She'd rub her hip raw. She was biting the inside of my trailer, tearing everything apart. Took her in. She got misdiagnosed with an ovarian tumor, so we took an ovary out thinking that would help. It made her worse. They wanted me to spay her. Found out later it could have made it worse, and thankfully I didn't, because now I've got, a baby on the way, and I've got a baby on the ground and stuff from her. And so just... there was a lot of times where it would have been really easy to give up, especially with her, because I can't even count the number of drives home bawling because I didn't know if I was going to get her home. And so just horses.
Yeah.
They'll do it. We all have been there, but she's been, I feel like, my reward for all the other ones. Even though she made me work at it, but
yeah, it makes you appreciate it, right?
Yeah.
Yes. So why don't you tell us about your saddle and how it's impacted your program?
Yeah, so my first Burns I won, I think it's been 3 years ago now. Fell in love with it, and it's been amazing. So I'll back up some other saddle stories. So I rode a really, really, really bad saddle for a long time that was really falling apart, but I refused to buy another one, and I said, I'm not going to buy one, I'm going to win one. And so eventually I won one, and I love it. And I rode that one for a long time, and then Mia, being the wonder pony she is, won a couple saddles, and her third saddle she won was my Burns one. And I absolutely fell in love with it. No knocking any other brands, but I love my Burns. And so this last time around too, as part of those winnings that I had won as well, is I bought myself another saddle. When I bought Savannah, she's wider, so I ran her in too narrow of a saddle because it's what I had, and then I ended up getting my customized saddle from you guys as well, and I love it. So I put my family brand on it. They're the reason I ride. They're everything. And so the fact that my grandpa passed away 3 years ago, my grandma's still around, and I was able to get the family brand, it was only fitting that it went on a saddle I was going to design. So it's very special, and it literally went to the winning circle right after I got it a few days before the Xtreme Million. And in fact, I actually entered twice the Friday of before we started the regular race so that I could get my first run in my saddle. So luckily by the million, I had ran it, 4 times before my first million, but it was fun, and it's been incredible. I love it.
Well, apparently it's lucky.
It is. It's won a lot of money in the last little bit.
It really has. Right out of the chute, it was like no break-in required. Boom.
No, which is so nice. And I felt that way even about my other Burns. It's like it's like, I don't know, putting on a good pair of shoes or a good glove. It just, when they fit, you fit, and you know, and that's how my saddles, both of them have been. Right down to, I was even impressed that there was a hoof pick in there. It's like you guys do a lot of little things on there that others maybe don't think of, so thank you for that too.
Well, you know, you are so talented in so many things, and one of the many things that I've been impressed with was early on, I followed you on social media, of course, and just your eloquence with writing. You really write really well, and where did you get that, that passion from? How did that come about in your life, Ashley?
So I honestly, I don't know. My mom likes to write a little bit, but I didn't come from a bunch of writers, but I've always loved to write. I don't know, maybe I just like to talk so much, so it's easy to put it down on paper too. And so like even in school and stuff, I took creative writing, and I've always loved to write it. And I've wrote a lot of poems and a lot of different things over the years, and I'm working on a book, but you know, I'm like on the 10-year plan of that because I've been a little busy with everything, so excited for that as well. And just I just love to write. So
What kind of topic, if you don't mind? Anything?
it's kind of hard to describe it because there's still a few things in the works with it, but it will be something that I think a lot of people can relate to. But in the same aspect, it's not necessarily a self-help, but I secretly hope that it will help a lot of people with the message in it. So it's not like a biography or anything fancy like that, but it'll hopefully be something that people will enjoy when I get around to getting it done. So.
Yes, you are always so positive and inspirational to others, and you just light up the room when you enter one. So,
Well, thank you.
We always love
having
to
you
see
part of our
your.
Xtreme family.
Yes.
Love being a part of the Xtreme family.
Well, and you guys, and you've overcome a lot as well. I watched your journal and journaling out with your brother and all of that. If you can share a little bit about that. I know it's a hard story, but I think you brought a big community into that, and that's when I really felt like I got to know you, or your heart was through that trial that you went through.
Yeah, so the actual anniversary of my brother's accident was on the 1st, so we're right there. So it's always hard driving through Salt Lake. So my brother Colton was in a motorcycle accident almost 3 years to the day, and he had burns on about 70% of his body. So he was down here in Salt Lake at the burn unit, and he fought hard, so hard for 4 months. And then he went septic again for the 3rd time, and we finally lost him in January. And it was so incredibly hard to watch somebody fight so hard just to be gone. I had been there a few days before he passed, and I still, even to this day, I can't wrap my head around it, just how you can go from being so good and talking about him coming home, not soon, but in the very near future, to just gone, and it really was something that, as awful as it was, there were so many hidden blessings. And not only did we pull together strong as a family, but we brought so many people together as a community. And Colton's faith was strong, and our faith was strong. And we literally had people all over the world praying for him. And watching strangers come together, and watching how hard he fought, and just watching our family be as incredible as they are, it was so humbling. And it was so hard though too, because it was just, there was a 2-year period where it's like, you just name it. I mean, my grandpa passed in July, Colton's accident was in October. We lost my husband's great grandma recently within that time frame. Then we lost his brother a few months after we lost Colton. And it was one of those times where you really had to make the decision. Do you want to get stuck in this, or do you want to find something to live for? And we all had to make those decisions, and it wasn't easy. And yeah, there's still some days where it's harder than others, but our days are numbered, and you literally never know when something will happen. And so you have to choose what you want. And I think that this was one of those times where literally every day we had to choose. And watching my stepmom lose her 2nd child was devastating. And the fact that she was as strong as she was too, and my dad, who finally got a son, losing his son, you have to find something in that, because if not, you'll get consumed. So I just think choosing how you want to live your life and understanding that each day is a blessing, and there's people dying every day, or some people don't have their health. Like, everything can change in a matter of moments. So you've just got to live. And that's what I'm trying to do every day.
What a great message. And what a great, it really was and is, I saw such a different side that I didn't know existed when you were going through all of that. And I really did feel like you brought us into your story, and I thought that the community did help lift that up. And that's what we're here for, is to unify together, to help each other, because we all have to experience these losses. But you've had so many in a short amount of time, but no one would know that. And I just have to say that when you come to the event, as Destiny has mentioned before, you do bring a light. It's bright and shiny, and we so appreciate it. And it's important that people hear your story and understand it, because they can overcome their things too. And you wear it so well. You haven't let it slow you down, and you always help bring together this community that we're so fortunate to have you a part of it. So just super blessed to know you and your mom. And we love that this is such a family sport, and just so many possibilities. And I smile that the third year in a row you're going to be in that top 25, adding to the 42,000 that you've already acquired. And I love when you're at the gate, you have game, and I love your hat is you. It's your iconic accessory. You pull it down, and you just have such intention when you come in, and you're so consistent, and you never get frazzled, and you just put it together. And the consistency has really paid off for you, Ashley. And
thank you.
And every time you watch, it's like, this is one to watch. And that's what we wanted to do with this podcast, is to showcase the ones to watch inside and outside of the arena, because you have so many things going on, and you keep all of those balls in the air, and you juggle very well.
Some days not as good as I may portray, but thank you.
But you do, you cover it well, all of it. You're just a great inspiration for everyone that's watching this and that comes. And I hope that you all enjoy these stories that we're bringing to you about these incredible barrel racers and their stories on and off the arena floor, because that's what it's all about. And learning more about each other and sharing these stories is something that I think we all are not only hungry for, we're starving for, is just to connect.
Yeah, and I sure appreciate you guys too. Like I said, it's one of my favorite races to be at. The ground's always great. You guys are so positive. I love going back and listening to all the stuff, nice things that you say about me when you're announcing. It's funny because you kind of black out when you're running barrels, but every once in a while I'll catch something. I'm like, oh, that's sweet. As I'm running, I'm like focused on what you're doing, Ashley. So,
don't listen to the loudmouth.
No, I appreciate it so much, and just the positivity is so nice. So thank you guys for that too.
Well, keep winning.
I'll try. I'm very blessed, so we'll see what happens. I'm excited to see what Mia's kid will do. Hopefully, if I get around to getting him solid enough, hopefully he'll make his debut in June, and hopefully she'll still be running too. And I'll bring down 3. We're gonna have to bring multiple trailers because I'm out of room now.
Yeah. And we'll get to see you at the Mini Million in Vegas.
I'm just taking Savannah down to that one, but I'm excited. I do have Mia better, but a 12+ hour drive for her is probably not going to be good. So, so we'll just bring Savannah, but I'm definitely looking forward to the Mini Million. It'll be fun.
Yeah, well, we'll see you there.
Yes,
I will be there. Well, thank you all for watching, and watch for our next episode of One to Watch.